Good evening, everybody. How are you? Good evening. Good evening. Super Serial, where have you been? Liz, good to see you. Hi, Yvette. Look I just got a text. I'm thinking I did my live about Leticia, Love Notes with TLC. I had a lovely day. I'm going to go to bed. Zelda. I had a lovely phone conversation with a very good friend of mine tonight. Just got off the phone and got a text. MRB is covering Love Notes for TLC, Leticia. I'm like, oh, she follows her? No. But Leticia's been the hot topic for those of us who have followed her since 2021. So I'm like, well, what's going on over there? And this person says to me, you won't believe the crap they're saying. They don't even have their facts straight. It's all like, look, if you don't follow somebody and you want a commentary on them or talk about them, you got to know what you're talking about. So let's go listen in. Okay. Are we ready? We're going to jump right into this. Hope everyone had a great day today. Okay. I think I already shared the screen. Hold on. What? Can you guys hear that my internet connection is unstable? Oh no, that's hers. What the heck? Hold on. Hold on for a minute. Why isn't this being shared? All right. Stop. Share. Share screen. Give me a second. Why isn't this sharing? Give me 1 second, everyone. Come on. Share. Okay. There we go. Hi, Amy. Black Eagle. It's been a hot minute. Yes, it was good talking with you tonight. I enjoyed it. Now you're hooked to this story. Well, don't depend on MRB to tell the story because already this woman, guy, whoever it is, she's hooked on drugs, she's schizo and raped. OMG. Talk about not gathering your information, your facts. Are you kidding? And what? I thought she was true crime. I mean, what a lateral change to go from true crime to Love Notes with TLC. And what? Because it's a hot topic tonight, you just think you can cover it? And you wonder why your channel is circling down the drain. I'm sorry, but if what I already heard in 3 seconds, let's listen. Let's go back a little bit. She gets right into it. Why am I on her channel dashboard? How the hell did I get over here? What? Hold on. Oh, she's shown. verify it's you. That was weird. She's hacking. Was she just hacking into my computer? The hell? Did you guys see that? Her creator studio was on my screen. And there was a cursor flying around. Wow. I think MRB just hacked into my computer. It's not mine, actually. I'm borrowing somebody's, but no, it isn't mine. Wow. I'll have to watch that again later on. Get out of my computer, MRB. Stop it. Stop it. Hacking is illegal. If I prove that you hacked into my computer, oh my God. NBC News. I don't even follow NBC News. Oh my God. Wow, that was mean. To verify, what the hell is this? It's not me. Look at this. What is she doing? Is she showing this? Why am I seeing? Well, look at the cursor. What? All right, we'll just stick it here. Maybe she's on her own. I don't know. Look at this. Okay, first of all, whoever that woman is, Linda's iPad, Leticia is not schizo. Okay? Let's make that clear. The only drug she takes is marijuana. Let's make that clear. She is not someone who struggles with substance abuse, okay? My God. And she wasn't raped. She filed a false police report that she was sexually assaulted. Let's continue. No, she didn't always. Oh my God, this is a nightmare. No, she didn't always know she had to give this baby up. She really believed part of her was going to take this baby home. That was her hope. That was her hope. She wanted help, but just didn't know how to seek the right help or stay with the right help. Right. You see how Merb says right? Isn't it amazing that people can say anything and they believe it? Right. Yeah. What is she doing? So, Linda, why haven't you helped her? If this is so sad, why didn't you open up your home to her? If you feel so bad for Leticia, you know, the woman who threatened over and over to snap her baby's neck once he's born and throw him in a dumpster or in the woods, why didn't you open up your home? Leticia doesn't get thrown out. Leticia leaves. She leaves. Don't you think Merv, before she goes live, ought to get all this together before she goes live? She's not very organized. Very distracting. And it's a mess. What does she have? Like 10 computers going at once? What is this? Mini feed? GB has become a member. Cassandra Shara. Liz Tops super chatted $20. Good for you, Merv. You're making money. What else do we see here? Stream starting soon. Be right back. Intermission. Speakers, microphone array. What else? Are the bots showing? Mixer, sources, Sakura. Sakura sounds something like Middle Eastern. Oh, let me hide this. Okay. Scroll for, oh, I can't. She's showing it. Silly me. Linda, she's not a spoiled brat. She has suffered trauma. She was sexually abused by her brother and other people as a little girl. She is far from spoiled. No, it's not I have nowhere to live and nobody wants me. Letitia makes her own choices. She's welcome to live at her mother's home, but she starts fights. And nobody kicks her out. She chooses to leave. She chooses to live in her car. Okay, so I hope she clarifies that people, not all people with mental illness will hurt you. Okay, because she's making it seem like everyone that suffers or struggling with mental illness are violent people. So let's hope she makes that clear. That's not true. That is not true. This is a mess. This is a mess. You can't hear it? Oh shoot. Hold on. Hold on. I ran into this before. Hold on. Oh no. What did I do before? My son showed me. Let me stop for a minute. Share. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Share screen. Okay, I'll go back. I'm sorry. It's something new. Like I have to manually put in audio. go back.
I actually found her on a YouTuber called Nightwave or something.
Oh.
He was actually making fun of her too. He had pictures of her in hotel rooms where she's getting in fights with people.
Right.
Loud, obnoxious. She can be loud and obnoxious.
Right.
But, these are, are always our spoiled brats that are faced with reality, and then the reality is I got nowhere to live and nobody wants me.
Right.
And I'm afraid to...
Okay, that is not true. She said the reality is she has nowhere to live and nobody wants her. That is not true. Letitia can live with her mother, but Letitia starts fights and she verbally abuses her mother. And her mother tolerates it. Her mother never says you need to leave. Okay? Letitia starts arguments. She degrades her own family members. She chooses to leave. Nobody says you need to leave, Leticia. Not her mother, not her brother. Nobody. Nobody. Leticia cannot handle confrontation. Leticia has to always want to feel like she's in control and she's right, and that everybody owes her something. So Leticia is not forced to live in her vehicle.
No, I can help her, but I'm afraid that she'll hurt my life.
Okay.
Because she is mental illness. There is...
Okay, this is where she says, I want to help her, but I'm afraid to because she is mental illness. Okay, let's make it clear that not everybody with mental illness, okay, harms other people. Okay? And let's hope that she clarifies that.
Something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of girls out there, and I watch it because, I just want to bring awareness to it. That it could be on your street, it could be behind your apartments that people are living in there. This isn't going to stop.
Yeah, but what's going on?
So what are you doing about it, Linda? The issue of homelessness. Are you an advocate? I am. In fact, I think 3 years ago, I helped a homeless man off the streets. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm giving you an example. I met him in Harvard Square. Nice man. In fact, it was the day after I got laid off from my job. I went to Harvard Square in Cambridge, Mass, and I bought him he was vegetarian. I bought him a lunch. And I sat with him and we had lunch together. I sat on the street in front of an old cemetery and I had lunch with him. And we became friends and I helped this man. All he needed was to get certain documents, his birth certificate, his social security card, and get on the list for housing. That man is no longer homeless. It just takes one thing to do. You want to help one person. Okay? So if you see someone in their car in the back of your apartment building or whatever, so scary, isn't it? So scary. Or you see someone on the street, buy them a lunch. Ask them if there's anything you can do to help them.
Hang on, did she want the baby?
Never. This was conceived.
That's not true. Oh my God. That is not true. Leticia was hoping to keep this baby. But under the circumstances of being homeless, and also, now the authorities have seen all her videos of her threatening to kill her baby. Deep down, Leticia wanted this guy to come forward, take care of her and the baby. She had that hope for the entire pregnancy. She would go off once in a while like, I don't care about this bastard child. But deep down, she wanted the alleged father to come forward. so she could care for this baby. So you're wrong.
Deep out of a rape.
So, okay, so she's not
So
like,
she said. So she says.
but now they're saying she falsified
No, so
it or
you
something.
say.
Didn't they arrest her for falsifying it or something?
Yeah, I'm sure somebody's been pressing charges. She was in Arkansas. I don't know how she skipped the state line, but she did that, I guess, after they let her out of jail on Friday, or they brought her to the hospital in Illinois. They said, we don't need this problem. You're going over the border.
Right.
State line. So she is a problem.
Oh, great.
Some people help her with money. Some people, try to mail her.
Yeah, Marv, she makes more money than you do. And she only has 7,000 subscribers.
Things, general post. But is she appreciative? I don't know. She's just so young and confused and mental.
She's not so young. She's 35 years old. Maybe young to you. I don't know how old you are. 60s, 70s, I don't know. But she's not that young. She's middle-aged. When I think of young, I think of like 20s. In your 20s.
Unstable.
Her first few videos today and come up.
The baby, she knows that.
Okay, so, but how the heck is she
healthy?
Right, but how is she even managing right after? Why isn't she even in the hospital overnight? Did she just decide
She left. They took her baby.
Merp's title is Love Notes for TLC. We need to talk about this. You don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they took her baby and she said, I'm out of here.
And
she now is going to say they stole the baby. Okay, that's what she's going to say now.
Oh.
They stole her kid,
Actually, Letitia hasn't really said that. She knows exactly what's going on. She knows that she can go to court tomorrow and fight for her baby, but she's opting not to. She might refer to it as stealing her baby, but Letitia's very aware that her baby is being relinquished for adoption. She'd like to think they're stealing her baby, but she knows. She knows the difference.
And everybody wants the father to go claim it, but that's not going to happen. And her mother Shirley's not going to really be involved. She hasn't been involved in the last long time.
That's not true. Oh my God. She was just at her mother's house like a little bit over a month ago. She was living with her mom. Her mother texts her all the time. Her mother's been texting her since Letitia first came onto YouTube.
Yeah.
It's just sad, And the women that are getting tossed out, this is where they're going.
Nobody is getting tossed out. Letitia chose to live in her car. She's not on the streets. Letitia chooses this. Letitia doesn't want to live in a shelter. Letitia doesn't want to live at home anymore with her mom because Letitia doesn't get her way. Letitia starts fights.
Our streets.
And
not
so
just it's all over Pennsylvania.
Right. So she has now the car has the window busted out.
Yeah, I don't know. She had the camera on when she was being arrested, but it went off, either dropped or, the people are saying they pulled her out of the window. I don't think so.
But it sounded like the arrest was right before she gave birth.
Correct.
Okay.
Because she's been on, if you see how many videos she's made in the last few days.
Yeah.
Mark, just to let you know, Letitia I don't know if you're putting, did Merp hashtag this true crime? I'm just curious. I mean, are there no other crime cases out there besides Letitia filing a false police report and violating a restraining order?
In the last day, she's made
Before
like.
she had the baby. Yeah, before she had the baby, she was going on at least 2-3 times a day, talking about the situation and talking about how she's got to separate herself from the baby. And a lot of that hate from the baby has, from her mind, I don't know how to explain it, but she's told herself that she hates the baby and it's easier to give up that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
It's easier for her to give this baby up if she hates it and it was conceived terribly and just, anything she could tell herself bad about it, just so that mentally she thinks she can handle this, but nobody can, and we know that.
Okay, but what about?
Just gave up her baby.
But they said that she's like.
She just gave up her baby, just like that.
Yeah, she was
just like that.
Things, Yeah, she was.
Okay.
She'd sit outside of a hotel and say, "Any man out here, come get me. I'm ready. I just want to," she. What?
Trying to get the Zoom on the thing.
Her name, Mommy Letitia.
What is Merv doing with her channel? I feel like I'm going to go to
now
procedure.
Let's just try to make awareness
of. Does she not prepare ahead of time?
Let's not bully these girls.
Oh my goodness.
You've had enough problems in their life to get in this circumstance, right?
Yes, Linda, go to bed.
Right. Yeah.
In Pennsylvania, I don't know if you all know about Kingston and.
Oh my God, Merv, what are you doing? Get it together, Merv. Poor Nicole. Oh, nice nose ring. Not you, Linda.
Sorry, with all the drug use in Pennsylvania right now. Hello.
All right. Sorry about that. I'm trying to figure.
Wait.
Oh, no, I was trying to figure out something here. Okay. So
this thing around me is Baltimore and Pennsylvania. Y'all, if you want to help, you got to figure out where these drug-infested areas are and figure it out. See if you can help somebody. See if the street.
The solution to homelessness, Linda, is housing. Housing first, not treating the addiction. Okay? And I will certainly, if you'd like, I can do a live stream one night and discuss, the topic of substance abuse and homelessness. I'm very, very experienced in the way that, because my son has been struggling with substance abuse. He is in recovery. He did recently relapse when my mom passed away, and he's back on track, and thank God. But you got it all wrong. It's not that easy. The solution for homelessness is housing first. Okay? You can't treat people on the streets with no roof. Okay? You've got to give them a sense of belonging. You've got to give them safety and shelter. Okay?
Streets. The hospital isn't going to give you a baby unless you have an address, a baby seat, and a car to pick you up.
No, if you don't have a baby seat, the hospitals do provide free baby seats. Just saying. Not everybody can afford them. And just because they can't afford a baby seat doesn't mean they can't bring their baby home either. It depends on the situation. But a lot of people cannot afford a baby seat. So people do donate their old, if their infant has grown, obviously, most hospitals that have a maternity OB postpartum ward, they do donate their baby seats. So if you have an old baby seat laying around, call up your local hospital and see if they'll take it.
She had none of that.
Mm-hmm. Right, she had nothing for a baby, and I don't even know how she's taking care of herself.
Wow.
People are sending her PayPal money.
No, but I mean taking care of herself, like even, hygienically after a baby in a car.
Did she make?
Leticia does have memberships to a countrywide gym. And one thing about Leticia, she is very hygienic focused. And what you really need to do is after you have a baby is change them. They give you pads because you start bleeding. Okay? She didn't have a C-section, so there's no surgical wound to care for or monitor. She didn't tear herself like a self-torn episiotomy. She's young. I remember when I was her age, I had my daughter, and as soon as I left the hospital, I went straight to my parents' boat with my baby. Yeah. So she's young. God love her, but she's very hygienic. She typically showers every day. She is obsessed, OCD about brushing her teeth. She's good.
Money that's why I think she's in the Midwest. It's because hotels are cheaper out there, Motel 6 or whatever.
Can someone unhide Mary, please?
Up a night in the hotel. But she's so paranoid that she feels safe alone in that
car. Can you unhide Mary, please?
I don't know how. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how you could do that when you have a baby like that.
What is she doing?
You're normal. We wouldn't want a life like that. Just think of the States and not leaving here. You're not
Sorry
leaving
about
here
that, Mary. It was a mistake,
and
I'm sure.
She knew that from the 3 months after, when they did a pregnancy test on her.
Does she have any family?
I think she's a throwaway.
No, she is not. Oh my God. Can you imagine if Leticia's mother saw this stream? Can you imagine? Leticia's mother married a very abusive man. Very abusive. So Leticia's mother is also experiencing trauma. Was she the best mother? She did her best under the circumstances. Did she physically abuse Leticia or verbally abuse Leticia? No. Were there things that went on in the house from her father, her brother? Yes. And unless you understand the battered wife syndrome, you really can't say that she's a throwaway because Leticia's mother wasn't able to stop a lot that was going on. But you really have to understand the battered wife syndrome to understand that. But Leticia is not, her mother loves her very much, very, very much.
Huh.
Linda, someone in chat said that she was offered the option of housing, but didn't want to fill out the application. I don't know.
That is not true, Margot, or whoever's talking, not Margot. I don't know whoever it is. Leticia was offered housing for $400, and she could only afford out of pocket for Section 8, $455. The housing was more money than that. That's why she couldn't take the housing. She filled out the application.
About this story,
she doesn't follow. She's so mental that she never follows up.
God, this thing is so big.
And that's quite normal for somebody who's paranoid, right? Mental ill and a little paranoia. They don't feel like these people are really helping them.
She's not qualified to say that. She's not qualified to say that because Leticia suffers from it. Does she even know what Leticia suffers from? Does she assume that she's schizophrenia? Because she did say Leticia's not taking her schizo meds. That's rude. You're not taking your schizo meds. How about you're not taking your medications required to maintain or help you with your mental illness? Leticia has BPD. She does not have schizophrenia.
But police, when they, before she had the car, she didn't have a car for a while. They would pick her right off the street and shove her in a hotel, which is what they do with the homeless in, not in big cities, but of course in rural
That's
areas.
not true.
They're saying her mother is there in the area,
There
but
are people that know her.
I think she's thinking of the Gabby Petito case where the police put them in a hotel. I don't recall the police putting Leticia in a hotel. No.
I don't know. They said that's what they're all saying. Scooter and then someone else who was following
Well, if they're all saying it, it must be true.
her and someone else. I don't know.
Hi,
I have no
Juju.
idea.
She doesn't follow through.
Hi, Lotus Flower. She assaulted her mom. She has a mother and a father. They're divorced.
Thing is, Pink, if she was taking them, they would be screaming about how she's taking meds that may harm the child. They go after her no matter what. Yeah.
And a brother who lives with the mother, Colleen says. Okay. Huh. She said she
Linda,
won't
you
go
may
to her
want to just
mom's.
put your avatar on.
She can't get along with anyone. No one.
Mom
Mom bailed
because
her
you've got
out
the
of jail
story
a few
straight
months
from
ago.
from the start. It's a little
Her
embarrassing.
mother
I'm really
could
having
have helped
embarrassment for
her,
her.
but she is awful to her family. But you know what? You know what gets me?
She's not. Oh, all right, go ahead. Merv needs to realize, and I'm not justifying what Leticia
That
does.
baby,
Leticia was raped as a child by her father and brother. She was raped. Imagine that. By your own family members. Leticia struggles with that. It's unfortunate. It doesn't excuse her behaviors of threatening to kill her son, her unborn baby. But you make it sound like, she's a throwaway. Her mother doesn't love her. It is, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. And you probably shouldn't cover somebody or talk about their life until you actually follow someone for a while. And a lot of us have. In fact, as a mandated reporter, I have even communicated with her police out of concern for Leticia. As much as she pisses me off, I do feel for her, and she is a victim of sexual abuse by her own family members. And that's been proven.
baby. If she even knew,
Heads
okay,
up.
and I'm not saying anything, but there are couples that would have who can't,
Oh, okay. So is Merv going to start talking about adoption like Marie Osmond? All right. Stealing babies, wanting all girls or whatever. Here we go. Okay, let's see what Merv's thought is about adoption and me being adopted. It'll be very interesting to hear this.
like who are waiting so long to adopt a baby that let's just say something. They would have paid her thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for that baby. She's there trying to get money for a window. If she had only thought about things and tried to find a couple, and they would have sustained her, like even legally, okay?
Oh. Merv, are you suggesting that Letitia should have found a couple on her own and made them pay her like a surrogate? You're thinking of surrogate mothers. You are actually telling a homeless pregnant woman that she should have sought out a couple herself because they would have paid her thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Ugh. Oh my God. I could cry right now. I could, like, how dare you put a price on a child in this way? How dare you? And you say it so matter of fact. No big deal. She should have just sought out a couple and would have gotten, I'm not even done with her explaining this. That they would have given her thousands and thousands and thousands.
She could have gone to an agency if she was clean. They would have provided her with clothing.
She could have gone to church and told the Midwest, gone to a church and said, I want to put my baby up for adoption, help me. And they would have.
But even online, they have where they search for the parents, and then the parents have to pay, you know, like the adoptive parents will pay to keep the pregnant mother, you know, fed, clothed, housed.
That's an open adoption, Merb. That's an open adoption. Okay, in Leticia's case, because of her history, an open adoption would not be suitable for her. What is most suitable for Leticia and for the wellness of that baby and to protect that baby is a closed adoption.
Everything. They buy them cars sometimes.
Oh my!
But, I mean,
Merv, is that what it's all about? Materialistic things? It's going to make it all better, right? That Leticia has relinquished her child, but she's going to get a car. Too bad she didn't get a car. She would have gotten thousands and thousands of dollars. How can you think of a child, a baby in this way for profit? For profit. Usually, an open adoption, the prospective adoptive parents will pay for their hospital visits, their clothes, because they don't have insurance. That is why they will pay. It's not to buy out a baby.
I don't know.
There's something mental wrong with her. You know,
Mentally ill, yeah.
It's obvious there's something wrong with her because of her actions and
the
things she says.
Landed against the chair.
Oh, Petty Pat. Okay, yeah, Petty. Oh, let me.
But Scooter, if you're on here, if you're listening, come on here. You might know more about her than I do. Well, then come on panel.
Yeah, I'm getting Penny Patty. Yeah.
Yeah, come on panel. I don't want to be the only one giving my opinion, but my opinion is that we have to look at
your opinion, Linda. You're giving wrong facts. You're putting it out there like your statements toward Leticia as facts. They're not opinions, and not once have I heard you say, in my opinion. I'm reading chat. I don't want to think I'm ignoring you guys.
Our backyards and see if there's something happening like this and try to help. Period.
Absolutely, I agree.
Black Eagle, really?
It happens everywhere, and not everybody.
And that's when I first talked about her. Wasn't it, Gail? Is when I first said,
Linda started sharing it with me, and it really touched home because we're having it locally too.
Sorry, trying to get this to the right thing.
Yeah, and it did, Linda, didn't it? We discussing it, and it's really hit a nerve, hasn't it?
Yeah.
They closed the alternatives. It's called alternatives, and it's a care center in a town that we used to live in where my husband grew up called Southbridge, and
the church
Mark.
will help you with the baby.
What's the matter? You don't like Black
Try to find
Did you ever say that? Black Eagle just subscribed? Seriously? Yeah, seriously. Aren't you looking for subscribers, Merv? You got another one.
Why is it not?
Where the dog go or something. Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah.
We make care packages.
They would have supported her. They would have taken her in, given her the master sleep. But, you know, the girl does smoke pot.
Black Eagle, she's not happy. It shows up because she's on another server system, like OS, I don't know what it's called, but it shows people who just subscribed. So she's like, Black Eagle, seriously? The father can get DNA right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely he can.
And I don't ever see her do anything else, even though people accuse her of that. Baby
We
was
make care
born.
packages. We go on the local forum, and also we pay it forward. So when somebody uses something, it's never to be resold. The stuff goes inclusive to be paid forward on condition that, well, you know, give anyway.
These people sell you ice in Alaska, okay? These people that are home will sell anything. That is not
Yeah,
fair.
that's the thing. I know that's the thing. But
I mean, come on.
let's try and pay things forward that they can use. Because
I'll be right there. I'm going to get my put my plug in.
they closed down.
Plug it in.
They closed down a lot of the medical institutions and closed. There's nobody and nowhere for anyone to go.
We know that. We all know that our mental hospitals are shut down, except in regular hospitals.
I wouldn't say there's nowhere to go, despite these mental health facilities. We tend not to refer to them as mental institutions anymore. That's those 60s and 70s. Mental health facilities. There still are mental health facilities in existence. They just closed down a lot of them due to budget, and a lot of the patients there were integrated back into society, into group homes, which is a major, really big. But there are, and despite hospitals, a lot of them have closed down their mental health units. There are still hospitals out there. And certainly a lot of these places that deal with substance abuse, and I don't like to refer to addiction or the addict because that's labeling somebody. You put labels on jars, not on people. A lot of these facilities that treat substance abuse are also dual diagnosis. And quite often with mental illness, with substance abuse, there is mental illness. So if a person can't get into just a typical mental health facility like we think of as a hospital, if they are struggling with substance abuse, and a lot of them are, especially the homeless, they can go into a substance abuse facility, a rehab, and where they deal with dual diagnoses.
You're right.
By the way, tomorrow, is it midnight yet? No. Tomorrow is International Overdose Awareness Day. So please check your city, your state, town. Look up August 31st, Overdose Awareness Day, and see if your city or town is having a function. And if you drive around and in your city at the Common or in front of the library, you happen to see small purple flags and tall gray flags. Those represent all the lives lost in 2021 to substance abuse, to death by overdoses. So please stop, say a prayer. If you can't stop, say a prayer while you're driving by. And if there's something going on there, a function, please try to stop and, you know, pick up pamphlets, talk to people, even if you don't have a loved one who's struggling. I think we all know somebody or a friend who has a loved one.
It is too hard to watch.
I don't get, it would be harder to watch if she wanted the baby or something like, and she was really trying to have the baby and baby. She doesn't seem at all concerned about the baby anymore.
No. Stop that.
What?
No. The puppy business, who knows? I don't want to spread any rumors about this chick. What I want to say is what we see, not what is supposed to be said about.
Linda, quit while you're ahead, please.
Right.
Not
And,
one
you
of
know,
these.
God's sake,
So not
if
one
you
of
see
these
some-
people on panel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, aside from MRB, has anything true to say regarding Leticia or correcting Linda on her speculations or ideas about mental illness and homeless people. Interesting.
somebody in our own neighborhoods just offer some help.
Okay. Well, I thought she was in your neighborhood this morning. I didn't know who the heck you were talking about.
No, I know.
Why does someone have to be directly in your neighborhood to help? You can help living far, far away if you feel that bad for somebody or want to help them. They don't have to be directly in your neighborhood. There's outreach programs. You know, reach out to them. Volunteer in your own community to kitchens that help serve food to the homeless. There's so many ways you can help. You might not be able to help that person directly, but you can certainly start by helping in your own community. That's the only way things can change. Talking about it isn't enough. It just isn't. You've got to be proactive and do something about it.
That's just what you were thinking. I don't know. What do you think? Because it's not choices that
Oh,
sane people
that her
make.
stomach just looked so odd in one of the videos. It looked like she had like a pillow in it. That's what I'm saying. So if I
Not
had
very
seen
tall.
that
She's
baby,
not very tall.
it would have been crazy.
She's not very tall. All her friends tower over her.
Yeah.
Her acquaintances, they're not friends. She's paranoid of all of them. And it's a street crew.
Do they realize that Leticia has lost 150 pounds before she got pregnant? Do you know, you guys too, she lost 150, sometimes she says 155, who cares? But she lost an enormous amount of weight not by a diet. I don't believe in diets either. I believe in behavior modification. It's the choices we make. And I'm vegetarian. I'm not vegan. I think Leticia is vegan. But she lost her weight based on just exercise and eating the right foods. She was never on yo-yo diets up and down. They're all scams. Diets are scams. You just got to eat right, portion control, eat healthy foods, no processed sugars. And I give her credit for that. She lost 150 pounds.
They live on the
She was able
street.
to live in a car.
They,
It had
who's
to be
they?
so uncomfortable. Yeah, it does. She doesn't have a job or anything, right?
She refuses to work, though.
Yes.
She's on SSI disability for PTSD.
Does she get disability?
So look at it this way. If it were your child who suffered a trauma, say sexually assaulted by her father and her brother, and other things in between, A very dysfunctional family. Okay? And your daughter suffered from PTSD. Would you want her to work if being around people created anxiety, fear? That's what she's going through. And yeah, people say, oh, Leticia, get a job. But she's technically on SSI disability, and she hasn't worked through her trauma. Not at all. She's not ready to work.
Liddy?
Yes.
Mark, why don't you do a background check on Leticia? Then you can find out everything you want to find out about her. Merb, are you on SSI disability? Come on. Don't go prying into people's life that deep, or their profession, their career. Okay? It's rude.
Linda, you said you wanted to help her?
No, I
Or
don't
people
want to
like
help
her?
I do want to help people like her, of course.
People like her. What is she, an alien? People like her. Leticia is a victim of her own circumstances. Okay? People like her. I sense a little, quote unquote, segregation here. Just kidding. No, segregation. I sense a little, yeah, like you're separating these people in a way like her. Like what? Tell me about it.
Okay. To an extent, Letitia is one of those
It's
people
Leticia.
that are do not engage, period.
What?
She has destroyed people's lives for trying to help her in the past. And I'm talking like
What?
They always
she doesn't
do.
want the help. She
They
doesn't
always
want the
do. These three people always destroy the lives of people that want to help. How do you think they got there to begin with?
Who are these? These people always destroy other people's lives. Who is she? These people. She's referring to people with mental illness. So she's making a generalized statement that everyone with mental illness destroys other people's lives. These people could be your mother, your daughter, your son, your child. These people.
And so she has attacked almost every single person in her family. That's why none of them have anything to do with them.
That's not true. That's not true. Let's go back to Leticia's mom. Leticia's mom opened her home up to her daughter. Leticia doesn't know how to handle arguments or disagreements or difference of opinions, okay? Nobody kicks Leticia out. Leticia chooses to leave, despite her mother wanting her to stay. There is nothing worse, I can't imagine, than your daughter living out on the streets or in a car, pregnant, okay? And a mother just kicking her out. That is not Leticia's mom. Not at all. Her mother is a loving mother. Her mother is also a victim of domestic violence. Yes, they are dysfunctional, but one thing that her mother has for Leticia is love.
Or with her, she attacked her sister with a knife.
Chubster, that's right.
Shortly,
She attacked her sister with a knife. That was a rumor going around. That never happened. People were saying she was living with her sister because it was like they were thinking process of elimination. Where else would she be? She was never with her sister. ever. Ever. That's a rumor. That's not true. Leticia did not attack her sister with a knife.
After
Merb, you need to take this live down when you're done. You really do.
like she found out that she was pregnant.
I'm not the only one that's going to be doing commentary. I guarantee if this live stream stays up, it'll get around to the community that follows Leticia every single day. Every single day. I guarantee it. I'm not going to tell anyone. It'll get around. And you tagged Love Notes for TLC. You hashtagged her, and you don't even know her. You hashtagged her twice.
And her sister wanted to like have her off of the streets for that.
Nope.
You know.
Nope.
Because so she doesn't want the baby, but she's not going to have an abortion.
Nope.
She makes no sense at all.
No, you make no sense.
And then
no, Petty Pat. No.
The father supposedly on her, but in one of her own videos, she shows the text message conversations showing that it wasn't just it wasn't the case. You know, like she wanted him to be her forever type deal, you know. And then he couldn't handle her. And
wait a minute. First of all, it wasn't a matter, really, he couldn't handle her. She was a one-night stand. He didn't even know her long enough. He didn't know her long enough to get to know her to say, I can't handle you. It was a one-night stand. She wanted a relationship. You know how guys are. You go up to a guy, you know, want to get married. She was overbearing. She wanted a relationship, one-night stand. She just met the guy, and she's already planning their wedding. This guy was like, no, thank you. The rest of it happened after, when she texted him and said, when she found out she was pregnant, if you don't want a relationship with me, I'm going to file rape charges. Okay? I hope you're taking notes, Petty Patty.
Good luck, but this isn't happening. And so that's when she started with the whole R story.
Rape.
But like I said, whether it's true or not, and everybody wants that perfect love story with a man and a baby. Why should she be?
It wasn't true. She was not raped. It wasn't until the alleged father, and we don't even know if he's the father because she slept with 4, or was it 5, different men in a week? Okay? And it's in the police report that Leticia filed. You can consider it, I don't know, discovery. All right? She wrote it in her own words as well, that if he doesn't become her boyfriend and takes care of the baby, she will file rape charges. And this wasn't until long after they got together. Leticia did not go to the ER right away. You have 5 days to go to the ER to have a rape kit done on you. She didn't go till 2 weeks later. Okay? She was not raped. In fact, that night that she claims she was raped at nighttime, she slept over and in the morning had sex again and told everyone she enjoyed it. Take notes.
Be any different?
Yeah. So he's actually the one that has the charges pressed for the false accusations of R. He is the reason why she was picked up in that video before she had the baby. Now, I'm not 100% sure how stressful the arrest would have been, but she has been having contractions for the past like 3 weeks.
Okay, her contractions, Petty Patty, are Braxton Hicks. Okay? That's very common in the last trimester. It's very common. No need to worry. Braxton Hicks are irregular contractions. Regular contractions are like one contraction every 10 minutes or every 15 minutes. When they first start, the duration between contractions is much longer. Okay? So you might get one every 15 minutes. Then eventually, maybe a few hours later, one every 12 minutes. It is when it comes down between one every 5 to 7 minutes, you want to call your doctor, and he'll probably say, head over to the hospital. Okay? Braxton Hicks are very common. Her due date is September 4th. Today, the day her baby was born, that beautiful baby, was August 30th. Due dates are give and take 2 weeks. You can't you can't say to anyone, your exact due date is September 4th. Okay? It's usually a week before, a week after. The estimated, and they write it as estimated due date, EDD, okay? Not ED, not like exact due date, it's estimated due date. Take note. Will you?
She should have already been in a hospital to have the baby.
No! Oh my God! She was having Braxton Hicks. If she was gonna have the baby would have came back then. You can't have regular contractions and all of a sudden they just stop and go, whoops, not tonight, let me try another night. Those were Braxton Hicks. They're normal. You don't have to go to a hospital. If you're a new mom and you're concerned, you could, but if you call your doctor, he'll tell you just what I explained to you. Time them. Are they regular? Are they irregular? Are you getting them every 15 minutes, then every 12, then back up to 15 or 18 minutes? Those are Braxton Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
So you think she was holding her own baby in?
So what happened, Patty? She got arrested and then she went into labor?
I'm assuming that's what happened because she was arrested like last night or the night before, and then this morning
Friday night.
she had
Friday night.
All right, and then she had the baby Monday morning at 3 a.m. or something like that, didn't she?
Why aren't they doing a private Zoom call about this? This would be perfect for their they have a 24-hour private Zoom thing going, 24/7. This would be perfect for them just to do this in private, because it's all speculating and it's all gossip, and other creators are going to pick up on this live stream and be like, WTF.
There's no way to go back and talk about what happened. It's this chick, this girl, I don't want to call her chick, this girl.
Huh.
We are going to watch a total meltdown of this person. And if we could stop one other girl from having to do this, yes, I understand what you're saying, Patty, that these people treat their families terribly and treat everybody around them terribly.
Oh my God.
Should we give up?
Not every.
Should we just leave them out there and walk over?
Hold up. Linda likes to generalize. So Linda is saying, she's been saying all along, people with mental illness, she's putting them in a category that is a stigma. That these people come from bad families, and I can't. I'm sure there are subscribers of mine in here who have, a mental illness. What are you doing? What are you doing, Linda? What if I were to say to you, well, maybe I have a mental illness, you know? Or even somebody who's suffering with depression, that's considered a mental disorder. I mean, stop it. You refer to them as they, them.
Well, that's why I said to an extent. There are some that, yes, sure, we should help, but she
Good night, Lotus.
is one of them that, there's people like her that.
Okay, so some you should help, Petty Patty. What about the rest? They don't deserve to get help? She says, yes, I agree. Some should be helped. But what about the rest? So, all right, say you have 20 people homeless. You're only going to help half of them? What about the other half?
I would never
all
want
people with
anywhere
mental
even
illnesses
looking at
who
my
are homeless
house.
on the street deserve to be helped.
Exactly. That
No,
doesn't
that's
mean
not.
What are you afraid of? Afraid
They are
of time?
violent. They are physically violent.
Hi, come
I
haven't seen you forever.
that's what I'm saying. Like, she is physically violent to everybody. Her
Well, I bet if
brother,
she let me
sisters.
so physically violent, we probably
I would not categorize violence, physically violent with everybody, always as part of a mental illness. People without mental illnesses can have a temper and are very explosive, okay? It doesn't make them mentally ill. Have you not ever felt like so angry that sometimes you'll even throw something? Maybe not at a person, or maybe you have thrown something at a person. So should we call you mentally ill? This, I will tell you, in 2020, I believe it was 20, YouTube's terms of service has changed. They add every year. They update their terms of service. Mental health discussions in this format, and I'm just being truthful, where you're speculating, you're giving wrong information, is against TOS. Is against TOS. And if you don't believe it, look up the current terms of service. It's all accumulative throughout the years when they update. Look up YouTube's terms of service and educate yourself about what they feel is a violation of discussing mental health issues.
probably sit down, laugh, and try to figure some things out. I thought I understand her.
You're optimistic. It's very nice.
And I've dealt with junkies my whole life. I know that this could even be worse than it appears.
There's people like her that I would never want anywhere, even looking at my house.
Exactly. That
No,
doesn't
that's
mean
not.
What are you afraid of? Afraid
They are
of time?
violent. They are physically violent.
Hi, come
haven't
seen you forever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she is physically violent to everybody. Her
Well, I bet if
brother,
she let me
sisters.
so physically violent, we probably sit down, laugh, and try to figure some things out. I thought I understand her.
You're optimistic. It's very nice.
And I've dealt with junkies my whole life. I know that this could even be worse than it.
Does she have closed caption? Unavailable. Did she just say I've been with junkies my whole life?
That
No,
doesn't
that's
mean
not.
What are you afraid of?
They are
Afraid of time?
violent. they are physically violent.
Hi, Connie.
I-
I haven't seen you forever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she is physically violent to everybody. Her
Well, I bet
brother,
she
sisters.
so physically. We probably sit down, laugh, and try to figure some things out. I buy her a set with her.
You're optimistic. It's very nice.
Okay. I've dealt with junkies my whole life. I know that this could even be worse than it appears.
Linda, my son struggles with substance abuse. Don't you ever refer to anyone struggling with substance abuse as a junkie. Okay? Enough of the labels. That's a stigma that needs to go. That needs to go. It's a label that belongs on a jar, not on a human being. Petty Patty wants to just get rid of everyone who's mentally ill because they are violent. Linda wants to hang out with them because she's been around junkies her whole life. I need a break. I need a break. Okay, hi chat. Thanks, voices. Trubster, you're right. Leticia will walk away. She'll walk away. She's got a temper, she's got a big mouth, but she'll walk away. In fact, and Trubster, you were right earlier. It was her brother who physically assaulted Leticia during an argument. Did Leticia even fight back? She may have pushed him away. Sunflower, this is the caliber of panelists left on that channel. Yep. Really, and you know what, to me, this just shows them who they really are. Yeah, Yvette, when people start using junkie, drug addict, these are labels, and it is ignorance. And that's where we need to speak up and educate. And that's what I do in my community. I go, with COVID, it hasn't been as much, but I started doing like Zoom meetings and stuff. I started off going to Al-Anon because my son was struggling with substance abuse. From there, once I got educated and at the same time learned how to take care of myself because I was falling apart and I didn't understand a lot about the disease of addiction, I started working with helping communities, and that is the best thing you can do, is to be of service to others. And included in that is those who are struggling with substance abuse. I think of nothing of going to a homeless community in downtown Boston and talking to these people, helping them out if I can, if it's a matter of giving someone gloves, or if we have, in the wintertime, and advocating for them, because not all of them can advocate for themselves because they are suffering from mental illnesses and substance abuse. So that's your dual diagnosis right there. I'm just, but this is okay. Of course, I'm belly breathing, and I just learned from Jewels of Thought. What is it that once you start belly breathing, it's a sign of stress? We're mostly chest breathers, and I am literally caught myself belly breathing right now. But this is okay, because you know what this teaches me? That we still have a lot of work to do to help educate people and in our communities. We really do. So this is okay, because to me, it tells me, Pink, your work is not done yet. Our work is not done yet. And it takes a village. It really takes a village to make a difference. So this is okay.
People do crazy things when they're high, but I'm not saying she is, and she wasn't when she gave birth to that baby. Or she wouldn't.
How do you know, Linda? Were you in the birthing room with her? How do you know she wasn't high? How do you know that she, well, actually she was in jail. So most likely she wasn't. She wasn't in jail that long. Well, then she went into labor. But aside the fact, unless you're in the birthing room yourself and you've looked at toxicology, lab results, you can't really say what, you know. And sometimes a lot of people, when they go into jail, because I used to work in the jail and a prison, they'll put marijuana, pills, whatever it takes, up their orifices. And even though they bend over and cough, it doesn't mean that they always cough out their paraphernalia. Just saying. There's so many drugs in jail. It's really, it's a fact. They get drugs in.
She would have been in jail when she said, "I want to leave here now."
It's not like, I mean, she does smoke pot, but she's not like a junkie.
Oh, Petty Patty's on the junkie roll too now. Petty Patty, do me a favor, don't ever say that word again. That's very offensive and hurtful. Not only to families who have a loved one struggling with substance abuse, but imagine telling that. Would you go up to someone who's struggling on the street and just say, "Hey, junkie"? You know what that will do? That will make him use even more. That's hurtful. It's demeaning. It's labeling someone. And junkie came about in, I believe, in the 1930s, when people who were struggling with substance abuse would go to junkyards to salvage anything they could to sell. That's where the term junkie came from. Junkyard. So when you call these people junkies, unless they're actually, are they in a junkyard? So I have a lot of work to do. It's getting better. People are a little bit better. People aren't so brazen and just throwing out labels like they used to, but there's still a lot of people who do it.
To even think like she does, you know? She's been thinking like for years. She has a baby, right?
Yeah, so with her, okay, so with this kid, it was taken because, so she has videos, not only of her, like, threatening physical violence on the baby in and out of her stomach, okay? Some of them she wanted to chop him up to send to the father.
Is that still up?
Okay.
Are those videos still up?
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Merv, just like your videos. Yeah, they're still up. Ain't Google fun?
And then there was one where she was taking almost an entire bottle of ibuprofen just to try to unalive both of them.
No, that won't work.
I can't.
But needless to say,
Who came up with unalive? I can't stand that word. You can say suicide. I mean, you can just say trigger warning, but unalive would be the same thing. It means suicide. I hate that word, unalive. Unalive. The best word to use is self-harm, you know, but unalive. It just sounds so, I don't know, it's weird. Does she sleep in the car and she just had a baby? That's so rough. Yeah. Leticia, you know, did eventually go back to her mom's house 6 weeks ago about, but you know, it's just she left on her own accord. She left. Her mother wanted her to stay. Of course, I mean, her daughter's pregnant and that's her kid, but Leticia chose to leave.
yeah, obviously there's problems. and I have a compassion for these, especially young females who are in this.
Then do something about it, Linda. Instead of just talking about it, do something. Leticia outright asked tonight she needs a place to stay. Offer your home. Contact her. She's got email.
Situation, Patty. We can't just close eyes to it.
Yeah, but
I
they're
never
saying
said
like,
close your eyes. I never said that. I'm just
Right.
saying there are some that are do not engage for your own safety.
right,
Is
right.
your life worth trying to pull someone off the street that doesn't want to be off the street?
Oh my
That is
God.
what I'm saying.
I have been volunteering with outreach programs for years. Okay? First of all, you watch too many horror movies or something. Okay? I feel relatively safer around the homeless people than I do people who have homes. Okay? And that's the truth. That's the truth. So where you're coming up with this idea, Petty Patty, that your life is at risk around homeless people. They're human beings. Try sitting down with one, like I did. Buy them lunch. Sit on the street with them. You'll be quite surprised. But again, I fear people more who live in homes than I do people who live in the streets.
I take that chance, and I have taken that chance. And over my life, you could ask Tina, I've helped, I don't know, I've had 30, 40 kids run through my house and their crazy mothers.
Yeah, well, I mean, many of your
Crazy mothers is another stigma. Calling somebody crazy because they have a mental illness.
you're differently equipped, but most people that could destroy their whole lives.
Correct.
Wow.
But that's why I didn't take her on. I didn't know.
I wonder what MRB's thoughts are on substance abuse.
I knew she was mentally ill, and I said, I can't bring her here because I can't lose what I have. I can't. And you're right, Patty. I can't lose what I have, but I can give what I can.
Linda, you don't have to take in all these people unless you plan on taking them in permanently and providing therapy, health care for them. You're better off helping them with resources and getting them into housing instead of taking them into your home like that. You know what I mean? Reach out to the resources in your community, outreach programs, because like the gentleman I helped, all he needed was a copy of his social security card and his birth certificate, and he didn't know how to do it. Very nice guy, and I was surprised. I'm like, that's so easy. You just notify social security and you request, but it also takes money, you know. And even if you don't have money to help them, these outreach programs can assist with that. If it means getting a copy of a birth certificate, social security, which can get them on a waiting list or right away into a housing unit, depending on their circumstance. I mean, why have a revolving door? That doesn't solve anything, you know?
It's just sitting and listening to their stories. You know?
Mm-hmm.
We all have a story.
Hi, Lotus Flower.
Right. Well, you have a good heart, Linda, but yeah, I think Patty's just saying she's destroyed a lot of people.
No, she hasn't.
And I said from the get-go.
Leticia has not destroyed a lot of people. If she's destroying anybody, it's herself. It's herself. And how horrible is that? Okay? I agree, Leticia needs help. But if she's destroyed anybody, it's herself. And that's sad. But she hasn't hurt, physically beat up anyone or pulled a knife on her sister. Like, where are you hearing this from?
I think I can't help this shit.
Yeah, there's just no. There's with her. There are some others, and the crazy thing is that there's more awareness because they do have these channels. Like there's an entire part of YouTube where it's just people like Letitia.
Really?
Leticia.
Yeah. And that it's cool that there's more awareness. That is really awesome. But there are some that you're just like.
Just an FYI for anybody. If you know someone who is struggling with mental illness or substance abuse or both, please do not advise them. And I don't know where she's going with this, but it's just a thought in my head. Do not advise them to tune into any particular YouTube channel. Okay? YouTube is not therapy. Okay? It should not be used as, let me go on YouTube to listen, always try to refer them to your local hospital, social services department. You know what I mean? Do not ever refer someone to, go on the internet. Like people, Dr. Google. My tongue hurts. Let me look it up. Everything you look up on Google will convince you that you're dying. Okay? Even a sore throat. It'll convince you that you'll leave Google and you'll be like, I'm dying. I'm dying.
Like you can't. You look at them or you watch them for a long enough time and you're just like, what? There's no helping this person. One of the people that
you can't help a person on the internet. That's crazy. It's impossible. There is no way you can truly help a person, especially going through mental illness, on the internet. In fact, that's a little reckless. They need either inpatient, outpatient treatment in real life.
She also.
I have helped many women into their own apartments, a whole new life, a new marriage. They're settled. Dead hardcore crack addicts. I have pulled out of Michigan, brought them here to Virginia, and they have more than I got. In that true, Tina? The girl is where she wants to be, absolutely right. And who knows how much money they're spending. She gets 500-700 people looking at these videos.
Okay.
What is the court appearance about tomorrow? He's healed.
Correct. I can't knows that something's going wrong. She's
In the water and stuff.
Oh yeah, they wear those dresses though.
They can't wear bathing suits. They can't.
I can't. I can't with her. I can't anymore. Anyone want to take a link? Hi, everybody. I've been reading everyone's chat. Yeah. Voices in you. That's why I went live. Someone texted me. I'm all relaxed, ready to go to bed. I'm like, and someone texted me and like, Merv is covering Leticia. And I'm like, well, that's not true crime. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't even think she follows her. This should have been a private Zoom conversation. I really hope Merv needs to put it on private, because the fact that she tagged Leticia twice, it's going to get around, and Merv is going to be criticized again, especially by, hey Zelda, especially by the creators, the bigger creators who follow Leticia very closely. Hi Zelda.
Hello.
Hi beautiful lady, how are you?
Oh, I'm struggling, but this is really making me sad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because I was 17 and I was I didn't choose to get pregnant. I was in a home for unwed mothers.
Yeah.
My mother hated me. My father hated me. And I see Letitia as grasping at straws.
Yeah.
She's a little child screaming, throwing a tantrum.
Right. She needs to care for that little girl.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know what Jesus did? He hung around the junkies and the outcasts, and he told us to do the same.
Yep. You see,
If
amen.
I would reach out to Letitia, but I don't know if I could have her in my home because I got my own train wreck going on. But my sister is a psychologist.
Yeah.
She doesn't put those down. She says it's just sad. They
Yeah.
don't choose this, and it really pisses me off what MRB is doing.
Believe me, I started abdominal breathing. And I know from Jewels of Thought, there's something wrong. When you start abdominal breathing, I just said it, I think last night, I watched a replay, and she was covering a case, and she's like, watch this man. He starts to breathe from his abdomen. Because I'm a chest breather. And I found myself tonight literally breathing from my abdomen. And I'm like, that's not good.
No. And I want to share, when I was young, I was a deputy sheriff, and I started out working in the females jail. And I hated the drug addicts. They just used to piss me off to no end. And then on Tuesday night, we'd load a 15 passenger van up and we'd take them to their Tuesday night, what do you call that pink stuff? What's that drug you give him?
Methadone.
Methadone. Yeah, methadone. Yeah. And they were all, all freaked out and hyper and everything, anticipating. And then on the way back, they were drowsy. And I'm thinking, these animals get to get a free high on their own by the government. And it just made me mad. And then one day there was a girl, she was a minister's secretary. And she was in jail for almost a year for she'd stolen some money from the church. She'd committed fraud. And I felt bad for her. And she had a drug addiction. And then I got to talking to her, and she said that, her life had started out with being sexually molested as a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that rang in me because I was 4 when it started out. And then my mother blamed me. And then again, when I was 14, I was kidnapped and raped. I have it on my story. It's called On My Way Home. I've been blogging my life story. And then I met another person, a drug addict, and then she had prostituted herself. And she was a beautiful woman and more educated than I was. And I felt bad because the reason she took the drugs was to make herself feel better. And then she prostituted herself to buy the drugs. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, it is. And interesting that before Leticia disclosed her sexual abuse, I had a feeling she was sexually abused.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Broken.
Yeah.
And we don't have a right to judge her. I feel bad. It made me it kind of angered me that she said those things. But the reason she said those things was because she's grasping at straws. It's like throwing a tantrum in front of her. And that's what she was doing. I saw her as throwing a tantrum for attention. She's reaching out. She wants somebody to pick her up and love her. And she got pregnant because she wanted to get love. She wanted love.
Did you hear her tonight, though? She's already wanting a relationship and saying, but she has to wait 6 weeks before she can have intercourse. And I was like, my goodness. My goodness, like, yeah, she wants to be loved, but she's gonna get herself into more trouble that way again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a feeling, Zelda, she went AMA.
Yep.
No hospital would have discharged her that soon, and I was hoping that they would transfer her or hook her up with social services in the hospital. But she's gone.
Yeah.
She walked out.
I imagine.
She can't
Right.
handle it. You know,
Yeah.
it's too much.
My mom worked in OB,
Yeah.
labor and delivery, her whole career, and before HIPAA laws, she'd share with me about some of them. Plus, I worked in the hospital too as a phlebotomist, so I saw a lot of things.
Right.
And we had a psych ward too. And we've got, these people don't choose that. A drug addict doesn't choose that life without some serious causation.
Exactly.
So we have no right to judge. None. And I think we need to reach out and help.
Exactly. Hi, Chubster. Chubster, this is Zelda. Zelda, this is Chubster.
Hi, Chubster.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful. My dearest friend died a few days ago, so I've been struggling.
Sorry, Zelda.
There were three of us. They called us the Three Musketeers, and two have died, and young. I mean, well, 70-ish. So
that's young.
Yeah. So I'm struggling that. My husband has long haul COVID. Now he has a nodule on his thyroid. So I'm worried.
We'll keep you in our prayers, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, everybody has something going on.
Yeah.
But I think somebody needs to close their channel down and stick to gluing.
No, I definitely think she needs to be reported because it is misinformation and
Oh, absolutely. That it's against TOS. I remember, you know how YouTube they update. We all get the emails, updated terms of service rules, and I remember that one, along with topics of self harm, and it's all in the presentation. And no, there's so much misinformation that's being given about mental illness, and that was more triggering to me than just the topic of mental illness.
Well, she also had a lot of misinformation about the virus.
She what?
She gave a lot of information about the virus.
Oh, misinformation. Oh, when she had the COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she went out touching everything at the Cracker Barrel.
Oh my God.
Oh, I was mad.
Voices in the Head says nodules are usually okay. I had many, says Voices in
but it's in the radiated area. He's had cancer.
Has he had cancer of the thyroid before? Usually they remove the whole thyroid.
I don't know. They haven't done a biopsy yet, but he's had radiation and he's had oral cancer and he's lost 30-something pounds.
Oh, well, we'll keep him in our prayers.
Yeah. Well, we're getting old.
Oh, I know.
But but my point is, what I wanted to say is, in working in the females jail, I got to know a lot of the women and know their backstories, and it was heartbreaking. And I understood why, and I removed the hate. My hate became understanding and compassionate. So
right, and it takes experience, education, being around like you were with your job.
So
yeah.
Yes, Spiegel Mama, I don't blame you for watching when Mummy Ramblings was talking about having Letitia ought to have sought out a couple to get paid. Yeah, that's when I slam my hand against the side of a chair.
Hey, maybe MRB is pregnant, and that's why she knows she's not peri or premenopausal.
It could be. That's right. She's not even premenopausal. So maybe, well, good for Jimmy.
Her mom had a oops. She's an oops, and maybe she's going to have a oops.
Hey, I have a friend who had an oops at the age of 50. She was thrilled because she had 3 boys, and she ended up having a girl.
My mom was 41 when my brother was born.
Wow.
And he had 2 miscarriages before that, but there were 3 of us girls and she wanted a boy. And at 41, she had my little brother.
Mm.
No oops.
Yeah, I've met people. This woman I used to take care of when I was doing visiting nursing years ago, her little brother, there was like a 21-year difference.
Yep.
So when she was born, no, when he was born, she was already out of the house. So he always looked up to her as his mother as well,
And I'd had a baby, so my son that was his Uncle Tom.
There you go.
It was funny because Tom got lost at a store one time and it was 100 degrees outside and he was just wearing a diaper. And
oh my goodness.
Tim went up. We were at a thrift store. And he goes, have you seen my uncle?
Oh my God.
My Uncle Tom.
Oh my God. His uncle with a diaper on.
What was he wearing? A diaper. That's honest to God's truth. He was wearing a diaper and he had a bottle.
Where's my uncle? That's funny.
That was funny. We laugh about that.
Hi, Teresa. Thanks for coming.
Anyway, I'll let you go.
Zelda, thanks for coming up and sharing a little bit with us. I hope, we're praying for Larry. I hope.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're old. We feel blessed. We are. We feel God has blessed us. And I think God has blessed us because we've helped others and been had a lot of compassion and not doing for ourselves all the time.
Right.
I only have 1 wind chime. I don't have 50.
Are you jealous? Are you jealous?
I'm jealous.
When are we going to have our contest? I have to upload that video. We're going to get this contest going.
I was gonna redo that video, that small one that I showed you.
No, it is so good. Don't touch it. Will you upload it?
No, I'm gonna make a better one.
Oh my God, better.
I have all the stuff ready to do it, but it's been 103 degrees today.
Yeah, it's been hot here too, in the 90s. But
anyway, when I load that, and I'm having fun because I'm just learning how to edit and create. So
good for you.
All right. Well, thank you for covering this.
All
right.
Said hi.
Hugs to everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Chubster, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been kind of following Letitia and life in general. So I've got to say I'm totally floored because they didn't watch anything on Letitia to be sitting up there saying anything. Nothing.
Yeah. Chubster, can you just talk up a little bit louder? Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it was just like, that should have been like a private Zoom, because they are spreading misinformation about her, but they're also spreading misinformation about mental health.
Right. And it's not just that. Letitia's in a fragile place tonight, and then to
Oh,
hashtag her, and I mean, I would be furious.
yeah. I went live about her earlier. Um, and I can't watch her all the time because she's
Yeah.
good at getting people upset.
Right.
And to see her tonight, all of a sudden, I love the baby. And when I saw her breastfeeding, I'm like, wait a minute, this hospital doesn't know anything. They're not
That's
aware. And
that's
that's
what
when
I think.
people in the community started making phone calls because they were concerned that Letitia was alone with the baby, because Letitia would say how many times that she would kill that baby.
Right.
And like the little boy who cried wolf, we just don't know what's the truth anymore with her and what's a lie. I mean, everything seems like a lie. So, out of concern, people were calling DCF. They were calling the police, and the chief of police in that area took the case, and he followed up.
Good.
And she no longer. They took her baby away.
Yeah, that was really bad. I didn't
Yeah.
understand why they did that, but then she said that, they offered a court date tomorrow. They wanted to reunite her, but I think that she's just, in a very fragile place. And when she went back to her car after your live, somebody broke out a window.
Right, I saw that.
So I can't watch her full time either. So I do get information and I do talk to different people in the community. And I have gotten more information in talking with different individuals, reading even comments as compared to what I heard up there. And then the part where they kept referring to her as in a very derogatory way. That was a part that was a little bit concerning because they put a label on her that she's not necessarily that label. They know nothing. They've watched nothing. And then,
Right.
Letitia.
Oh, but even Linda, who seems to, I don't know if she watches her even a little bit, they can't get the story straight.
Right. Well, the
Nothing.
story's way off for Linda. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say that, but
What did you say?
her story is way off.
Oh, it's not even on the chart.
Yeah. So I don't know why they would go live without watching it or even knowing anything. And then, to suggest the way that they suggest, there's a lot of people that are homeless right now. And it doesn't mean that they're all addicted to drugs or anything. It is.
That is true. That is true.
And,
That is very true. Thank you for bringing that up.
yeah.
That is, and a lot of people lost their housing during COVID.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and there's still some, there's different changes going on all the time. But see, if anybody watched any of her videos, I agree that not everything is her family's fault, but she's dealing with some real emotions. And I mean, her brother, in an environment like that, it was almost.
Hello. Uh-oh. Hi, Jackie. Chops, can you hear? We can't hear you.
Okay, hold on one
Oh,
second.
now I can hear you. Now we can.
Okay. Yeah, I with her brother, the one where he actually got up in her face and stuff, and she was video recording it for her own safety. That was clear.
Right.
So that tells you that the family fights get extremely volatile.
Mm-hmm.
And when she said she actually tried to file a report on that, and she felt that went nowhere. So she does try, but there, with some of the things that she's been through, you get frustrated, and it's hard to want to believe that things are going to work out okay when you've been knocked back that many times, and then a whole community of us is coming at her in a negative light.
But I will say Letitia's very good at poking the bear.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good. She
Oh, yeah.
doesn't know when to stop.
No,
I'm not justifying what her brother did,
right.
but she doesn't know when to stop. She doesn't know when to choose her battles.
Exactly. I do have to agree with you on that one.
And, imagine so many of us people out there live paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
We're one paycheck away from being homeless. Think about that. For those of you living paycheck to paycheck. And it's very hard to save up money these days, with inflation especially. So if you find yourself out in the streets, don't assume that, it's horrible and there's killings. And yes, there's bad areas anywhere, but there's also people who have homes who are just as bad, if you're going to put the homeless in the light that they did.
Right.
Like I said, I know worse people that live in homes that are more violent and
Right.
more yeah. So it's just the stigma, and it's and the solution to homelessness is housing, not treatment. Housing first, to give
Right.
them that security, a roof over their head, to give them that start, a foundation. They need a foundation. So you can't treat someone with substance abuse on the streets. You just can't.
Yeah. It's a matter of developing a program for them.
Hmm.
And then it's also our mental health, even whether it's family counseling, job counseling, it's all very overwhelmed right now.
Right.
So, you start with the home, you got to give them somewhere safe to
Hmm.
fill.
And the
You got
programs are out there. There's
right,
job training programs. There's so much out there, but people need to get educated
right.
and
In
look up
some
these.
places,
Yeah.
yeah, some places you've got to worry about your belongings, and if you have no place to keep them, even let alone to go and rest, you're not going to be able to hold down a job. You need to be able to have
Right.
food in your stomach. We actually have, where I live, they've got a tiny community because Tent City gets so bad, and with the winter months coming up, they actually go below the highways, and that's when they get, families get in real trouble because of the fumes that go back up into those
Oh
highways.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
So, tent cities are popping up everywhere.
They just in Boston, there's a street where it's a long street. Um, and I've gone down there a few times. It was really, really bad. I've walked those streets at nighttime. Times when I was even looking for my own son, and um, they recently, I think it was in the spring. It's called
Mhm.
Methadone Mile, and if you look it up on YouTube, you'll see videos of it. Um, Tents everywhere, and it's part of the street is a residential area. The brownstone houses, they're beautiful homes right in the city of Boston, and businesses, and it was starting to really affect the neighborhood. So finally, they went in and they finally offered housing to, I would say, three-quarters of these people. And it's going well. They're still doing the data on it, but there still are some people that have some tents, but nothing like it was before. If you look on YouTube and show um, Methadone Mile, your mouth will drop. And I'm sure LA is like that too. What's the section of LA
And
where all the homeless people are?
right.
Boston reminded me of LA, and they provided housing, and there is a lot of improvement. Let me see if I can find a video and show you. Backspace.
I do think you were on a good point when you mentioned that fentanyl is showing up in everything.
Yeah.
And even Letitia was mindful of that a couple weeks ago when she met up with somebody that, smoked some bubble hash with her. And she had made that comment, and right now with the epidemic, the way that it is with fentanyl, I mean, I know a lot of families that are being touched by it. My family has even been touched by it. And it's hard.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And now what's going on in our state is horse tranquilizers. It's been around, but it's now an epidemic. So they're cutting, I forget the name of the pill. It's veterinarians use it to tranquilize horses. And they're using that. They're using that in heroin and whatever, pressed pills as well. Okay, let me see here.
Yeah, it's a scary thing. And at least Letitia, she at one time had talked about, she was going to give the baby up. And then when you saw her with the baby today, I think they kind of set her up without knowing what was going on.
Oh, yeah, it was a disaster. I think it was a disaster. I think, well, she was in a different state.
Yes.
If she was in Arkansas, people, the police there were keeping an eye on her. But she knew what she was doing. She bolted to another state because she wanted to keep that baby.
Yes.
And it was a tough video to watch. It was a tough video.
It was. And you can speculate on things, but if you don't even have information, because they were way off, and I was having a real hard time with that because I did try to cover it, but being a mom, understanding some of the difficulties, and even with Letitia not wanting to accept any responsibilities, you got to be wanting to help yourself out. And for whatever reason, she's just not there yet. She said that maybe down the road she might be, but I think at least, with them taking the baby's safe right now. And that's been the biggest concern. It's been an emotional roller coaster. That one video a couple weeks ago was hard to watch.
Yeah, and the thing is, if she doesn't get the proper treatment, she's going to repeat the same behaviors.
Right.
And she could very well get pregnant again. All right, I'm going to show this video. It's Methadone Mile in Boston. I've been down here a few times.
Okay.
So, pardon the ad. Whoops. Sorry.
Mhm. Pink, the audio is bad. Pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, the audio is really staticky.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was my feedback.
That's okay. Thanks for letting me know. So basically, since since that video, that was the early part, I think 2021, they have provided housing. It doesn't even look like that. There's one side street that has some tents in it, but I walk those streets at night. And when you go down there, there's cops in their Jeep Cruisers every single block. They've seen me walk right by to grab my son, and what they do is they're just there to make sure no one hurts themselves or hurts someone else. But people are literally using drugs, as you saw in that video, right in front of the police. But there's so much of it that the police can't be inundated with it. They're just there for safety. And, so it's an eye opener, you know?
Almost definitely.
Yeah, same tinfoil, really, same in the UK. I often wondered about that, if other countries are in that much of a crisis with the opioid epidemic.
It does make
Narcan does help, but unfortunately with fentanyl, Narcan, you get a package that has 2 sprays in it, one for each nostril. It's not enough. I used to carry 2 on me. Now I carry 4. And a lot of times it takes EMTs 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 sprays of Narcan before a person comes out of consciousness, and sometimes they don't.
right.
And that's since fentanyl came out.
Yeah, it's hard.
Thanks, Miss Grace. He's in recovery today, so he's doing well. Thank you.
Oh, this is bad. It's got to be
I can't hear you, Chubster. What?
my audio is bad here.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can jump down and fix it and come back up.
Okay. If anyone wants to come up, I thought I pinned the link. Let me post it again. B. No, that wasn't it. Invite. You know, I used to think what I was going through as a parent of someone struggling. My life at times felt like hell, but then, one day I just sat and I realized, you know what? It can't compare to the hell that these people are going through who are actually struggling. Okay, there's the link if anyone would like to come up. Denise says, I've had loved ones on the streets. It's horrible. Yeah. Zelda, I tried to purchase Narcan. The pharmacist was beyond nasty. Over $150 per package. Oh, that's price gouging. Look up in your community. Call outreach programs. Often they give out Narcan for free. You can go to any drugstore. I've never seen it that high, but that's outrageous. I think CVS sells it maybe for like $30, but look into your local outreach programs, and they often hand it out for free. They will ask you, are you trained to administer it? And be honest. If you're not, say no, and it takes 10 minutes and they'll train you on how to use it. And also you can go to, also check out AA meetings in your community and see a lot of programs they give out Narcan and they offer training. I've done a lot of the trainings myself at these programs. So call your local AA chapter and ask them if there are any AA programs in your area that offer free Narcan. Anybody that's on an opioid, like for chronic pain management, should have Narcan in the house for accidental overdoses. Sometimes they mix it with another pill, or they may forget they took a pill and took an extra one, so it's important. Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Hello, Pink. How you going?
Good. Nice to have you up here. Can you hear me? Oh, you've got your
Hang on. Can you hear me now, Pink?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was saying I'm thoroughly enjoying, apart from the sadness of Letitia, obviously, this live, because it's absolutely vital that we all do learn more about the marginalised and disadvantaged and children that have grown up in grossly abusive circumstances, and why people use substances. And I love the way that you're very clear around the language, because that's quite different in the US than it is in Australia. There's a lot of language that's used still in the US that you could not say it in Australia. In fact, we probably never have. So, things like soup kitchens, when people say they volunteer at a soup kitchen, it's like, what? It's a restaurant or cafe for the Red Cross or a dining program,
Oh,
and,
wow. In Boston, we still refer to them as soup kitchens.
Well, there you go. You can work on changing that, because it makes and junkie, oh my Lord, yes, we used to say that in the 70s, but certainly not now. And it's classifying everybody into one group. Like,
yes, exactly. Thank you.
considered perfectly normal. And in fact, the people that are called junkies, I'm going to just for the hell of it saying it,
Yeah.
are less than 1% in heroin, less than 1% of the heroin using population. So the people that are so unwell that they want the opiate to numb their brain and
Yes.
take it in excess and then have that huge habit, they're less than 1%. It's perfectly acceptable if a married couple, say, want to go away for a weekend once a year and get on some heroin. They're not going to get addicted. They don't have that same emotional need.
Right.
And
Yeah.
in fact, heroin's not as addictive as the amphetamines. It takes quite a while. Most of us have had opiates in hospital and we do not come out addicted or even thinking about it.
Right.
So
Right.
there's a lot to learn, and Letitia's such a sad case. It is, oh my God, so sad. And yeah, there's always hope, but we have to support people where they're at, not expect them to do what we want. And you're very supportive of her where she's at, and that's the only way that one day she may be ready.
You
But
know something, I try to be supportive. I will admit that there are times that I'm so angry at her, you
of
know.
course, yes.
Um, and I
But
think a lot of my anger is from, wanting her to see the light somehow,
I
like
was
get
just,
through to her. Yeah.
yeah, I was just going to say that your anger's coming from a nurturing perspective, and you want her to be better for herself, not for
Yes.
you or anybody else, not to clean up the streets or the car parks, but for her. And that's okay. Sometimes in the work I'm in, which I won't go into detail, but, I know a little bit about this. My boss often says to me when service users, which we're moving from saying clients in Australia to service users, so when
Mhm.
our service users are ready to move on, sometimes I get into a panic and probably not doing my best work, trying to make sure everything's in place, their
Yes.
care team's in place,
Yes.
and he says, oh, you just don't want to let them go, and you're just
Right.
panicking like a, and
Mhm.
it's true. We do have that strong women's instincts and understanding, and it's not hard to learn. I mean, I didn't always feel this way. I kind of did, but the society I grew up in was very derogatory and discriminatory.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it was quite a push-pull for me as I got older. Like, no, I don't think this is right. And yeah,
Good
so
for
I
you.
just want to say
Yeah.
thank you. It's a terrific live, and I'm listening while I'm driving, and chatting. So I hope the background noise isn't too bad.
Yeah. No, you're
Yeah.
doing fine. Thank you. You.
Thank you, Pink. Look, I really love your channel,
Thank
and
you.
your subscribers are always fantastic. Always say hello. The mods
Yes.
do,
I love my subscribers and the
and
mods. They're all
it's a
great. Yeah.
beautiful. I don't why.
Oh, we
Yes,
lost her.
why did I not know about this at the start?
You're breaking up a little bit. Can you repeat that? Yeah, you're, she's roboting. Still roboting. Oh, oh shoot. Um, while we're waiting for her audio to come back because she's been roboting with Narcan, is still roboting. Yeah, I'm getting like every fifth word. That's Jenny Barnes on piano.
The more
She's roboting. So, Jenny, you're roboting. You can try to pop down and come back up, or maybe when you get into a better area. With Narcan, you always want to call 911. And when you're in the hospital coming out of an overdose, most likely you're admitted for observation, because when the Narcan wears off, the person can go back right into an overdose. So it's really important that your loved one, or if you yourself, end up in that situation, that you don't refuse or walk out of a hospital after being treated with Narcan. You need to be observed, because once again, the Narcan wears off and you can very well go back into an overdose again, and you can very well die. So a Narcan is not like, completely clears your brain, your body, affecting your respiratory rates. And that's what happens with these drugs. It affects the brain, where the brain actually starts telling your body to stop breathing, decreases your respirations, and then you stop, and death occurs. And it can happen very quickly with fentanyl, very quickly. And it's okay if you come upon someone who's unresponsive on the street and you have no idea. A lot of times with fentanyl, the effects are so quick of an overdose that the needles, if they're injecting, will still be in their arm or in a vein anywhere in their body. Sometimes their arms, they can't find veins, so use their neck between their toes. Always make sure you're safe before you administer, that you are not around any needles that could harm you. But if you don't see any needles and you're not sure, it is still okay to give Narcan. It will not hurt somebody if say they did not overdose, say they had a heart attack and you didn't know. You can still administer Narcan. It won't do anything if a person isn't on an opiate, all right? You think Letitia got arrested again, Glamis Girl? No. Well, I know she walked out of that hospital. Hold on. Oh my God. YouTube. Love notes. She's in a crisis. She's in an absolute crisis. And I said it before she left. I hope they don't let her leave. She kept going live, like she was becoming like, I'm not saying she's bipolar, but she was very like manic-like with the lives. Let me see. 1 hour ago, 1 hour, 3 hours ago, 5 hours. She's not live right now. Let me just let me share screen and see what this last live was. Three minutes. Uh-oh. Cops are there. I thought her window was broken. How did she get her window fixed so fast? Oh, this is an older video. This was before she had the baby. Yeah, it's pre-recorded. Yeah, that's an old. Huh. Pre-recorded. No, the last 3 hours ago, almost 5,000 views. Satan hates godly people. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, that's a relief. Sort of. I don't know anymore. She was in her car. It was dark. I don't know if this was tonight or yeah. It was it was before she had the baby. Yeah. Yes, Elder. I mentioned that too. Postpartum issues. And it will be serious, dangerous for the next few weeks. Yes, as her HCG, her hormone levels are going down. I said she's at high risk for postpartum depression. I think she's out of Illinois at this point. Her plan was to leave Dodge. Oh my God, it's 1:30 in the morning. Okay, listen, everybody. I could talk more and more and more about substance abuse, and I would love to do another live stream and touch upon it. And let's hope MRB privatize that video. Seriously, if anyone's tanking your channel, it's you. You can't do that. You can't spread false information. Let your guests spread false information about mental illness. Miss Grace, I think she went AMA, against medical advice. In fact, I don't think she told anyone she was leaving. The fact that she left that soon after giving birth, she definitely left on her own accord. And she left the state, I'm sure. Thanks, Chubster, for coming up. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Ava. Vera, how you doing? Okay, so I just want to point out that a lot of people who OD wouldn't have if people would have called 911, but they don't call because they're afraid of getting in trouble with the cops. Yeah, so in my state, because that would happen a lot, people would just, in front of our hospital, they would just dump their friends out in front of the ER and just take off. And so in our state, you cannot be charged with possession or under the influence of drugs if you are dropping someone off at the hospital or calling 911. You cannot be charged. So let's hope that a lot of other states do the same thing, and that surely will save more lives. I'm good, Bear. How are you? Just call 911, tell them you don't need the cops, and we'll just send ambulance and fire. Well, 911, if you call 911, everybody comes. Because the cops also have Narcan, and a lot of times the police will show up before the ambulance. So it's important that you ask. 911, you just say, you have someone who's unresponsive, possible overdose, and usually the police show up before the ambulance. So it's important they all show up. And if you have Narcan on you, or ask people who are around you, does anyone have Narcan? And again, if you're not sure if it's an overdose, it's still okay to administer Narcan. Thanks, Chubster. We mean that's wrong. I don't understand, get to know. MRB threatened Nana Patty with reporting her for having Lisa D on and accused her of not being qualified to discuss the topic they addressed Sunday. Interesting. Well, I'm not going to report MRB. I'm just suggesting to her, because YouTube can strike on their own accord. It doesn't, when people get strikes, it doesn't always mean that somebody has reported them. If you get the long form strike, then you can see who's reporting. But a lot of times YouTube on their own will take a channel down or a video. They monitor it, and the algorithms pick it up. I have personally done that. I don't understand what you mean by no, that is wrong. Wait a minute, let me go back a little bit. Maybe I missed something. You personally know that is wrong. What is wrong, honey? Why can't I scroll up? Let's pray for Letitia that she will get help and not end up dead. Yes. Well, I don't know what area you're from, get to know, but I know in Boston, the police carry Narcan, and most often, because there's so many cops in Boston, there are more cops than ambulances, and it's a very busy city, and a lot of the ambulance are busy transporting, that the cops often show up first. Yeah, you can come up. Let me post the link. Hold on. Okay. Control. Invite. I did have it pinned. I don't know what happened to it. Copy. Control V. Stupid thing out of the way. Okay, here you go, hon. In England, that young lady would have been sectioned under our Mental Health Act weeks ago, especially when she was threatening to murder the baby. Yeah, so what happened when I actually spoke to the chief of police in Hot Springs, Arkansas, they couldn't do that because she had a pending criminal charge. Isn't that crazy? So how he explained it to me is once she comes in on the warrant, then the courts can do what they call an Act 3, which is a court-ordered psychiatrist, evaluates Leticia and determines if she requires inpatient mental health treatment. And that's a crazy law. Just because you have a pending criminal charge, you can't section someone. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
So
maybe
what I was
I
saying was,
misunderstood. It seems like I probably misunderstood you.
maybe. I was just wanted to point out that I have personally dealt with having to call 911 before.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine who was just out of prison, and he decided to go on a bender or whatever. And he came over to my house, and he was literally tripping so hard on whatever it was he was on that he was seeing invisible people in my house and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get him in trouble. But I didn't want him to die. So with him being on parole, if the cops would have gotten involved, then he would have been violated and sent back to prison, right?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
So I called 911. And I had them dispatched to my house. And I told him, I was like, I don't need the cops involved because it's not a legal issue. It's not a criminal issue that they have to deal with.
Right.
That's the thing that people misunderstand about the police. If it's not a criminal thing, they don't have to get involved. So many people,
yeah.
Absolutely. So many people end up dying because people are afraid of calling 911 when they have a friend or a loved one overdosing or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And if they would have just called 911, the percentage of people who die of these overdoses would drop so far, it would be crazy. But they don't because they end up thinking that the cops are going to get involved because, yes, the cops usually do and are the first ones there because they're the ones that can get there the fastest and whatever. But legitimately, you can call when you call 911, you can request no cops get involved because a police officer is not trained. It's not their job to save. They're not an EMT. They're not an emergency medical technician.
Right.
They might know how to give CPR, but hell, I'm sure you know how to give CPR, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So trained in Narcan, so I just assumed that. See, I'm from Massachusetts, so here we put a new law into effect here that anybody that is in possession of illicit drugs and even overdosing cannot be charged if they from hospital go to treatment. I mean, it's a little bit better than before where it was criminalized, like no matter what. The only people that are exempt from that are drug dealers. But if you get arrested, say on the street for possession, they'll take you in, but you have a choice. Either they won't charge you, but you have to go to treatment. But yeah,
right. That's a huge step. And where I'm at, I'm in Idaho, and we're in the Stone Age when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like internal possession in Idaho is still against the law, but when you call 911, you're calling for usually 90% of everybody who calls 911, it's for an emergency situation, a life-threatening situation.
So when you say that you're just unresponsive, I mean, you don't say overdose?
No, you can say whatever you want. You just say I don't need the cops because if the cops get there before the ambulance does, they're not going to do CPR or they're not going to, you know what I mean? They might administer Narcan before an ambulance gets there, but they technically are not trained to save somebody's life. They're trained to uphold the law.
Yeah.
And when somebody's overdosing, it doesn't necessarily mean that the law has to get involved because at that point in time, it no longer becomes a criminal act of what they were doing. It is now a life-threatening situation, which becomes medical, which there comes in the doctor-patient privacy, which, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so see, we're in Boston, where I'm from. I always assumed if you called 911, even if you requested no cops, that everyone came anyway. But that's just
No, and it might be like that because that's what everybody assumes. They just assume that you call.
yeah.
Now if you call 911, and they pick it up and you hang right up, then the cops have to
Oh
come
yeah,
out.
yeah, they do. Yeah.
So
Well,
as
that's
long
good
as you
to
call and
know.
talk to, as long as you call and talk to them and tell them, hey man, this is the situation, and I don't need the cops. I don't need the cops involved because there's nothing. The cops can't cite you for a crime for somebody overdosing. I mean, it could be, I just walked in and it was my child that was overdosing. It doesn't mean that I'm a drug addict and I knew that they were gonna. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
All of that stuff that happened before that overdose is irrelevant.
Right.
But
Thank you for that perspective. I just would have never thought about it. So that's for people, yeah, who are in states or areas where it is still criminalized.
yes,
Yeah, and there are people, and it's, I used to work, I'm a nurse, I used to work in a prison and a jail, and it's not uncommon that when inmates are released, who previously were struggling with substance abuse, and in fact, someone close to my family, that's exactly what happened to him. He relapsed, although he's now in a vegetative state in a nursing home, but he was out of
that's
prison
sad.
2 weeks, and he was found outside of his house unresponsive, but he was anoxic. He was without oxygen for like 20 minutes. But I can see that people, if they're paroled, they don't want to go back to jail. So you're better off. Yes, you're right. Calling, right, not asking for the police. And again, here,
Exactly.
just mindful of that. Our state is unique, whereas a lot of other states have not decriminalized it on that level. So thank you so much.
Yeah, see, and I live in a state that would probably never decriminalize anything besides Mormonism.
So I would take it marijuana isn't legal there on state level.
No, it's not. It's not legal here on any level. Like you will still be handcuffed and sent straight and taken right straight to jail if you get caught with even
That's
a
weird
gram
to
of
hear.
weed.
That's
Yeah.
weird to hear
See,
now, where it's been decriminalized, and it's like we wouldn't even think of like you going to jail for pot, like.
yeah,
Yeah, you got to be
yeah,
careful
and
because
I mean,
my daughter moved to Florida, and the first thing I said to her was, she had a medicinal marijuana card for a
right,
severe accident for back pain, and I said to her when she moved to Florida, I said you better be careful because it's not legalized down there on the state level. Sure enough, it was a matter of months, and she got caught.
yep.
She wasn't arrested. She
See,
was cited, but she had to show up to court. She had to pay the fine. But you got to be careful when you cross state lines.
oh yeah, in Idaho, they take you, they take you straight to jail. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't.
Yeah. Were
And
you
I mean,
born and
what's
raised
crazy
there? Yeah.
yes, over 40 years now in the same city I was born in, within 6 blocks of where I was born at, to be a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But every state around us, except for one, and a country above us, marijuana is legalized in one form or another.
Well, have you thought about moving?
Yeah, I got some issues that prevent me from being able to do that, but
Oh, well, you
you
know
know,
what? I hope you can clear those up, and
we'll see. We'll see.
yeah.
But that doesn't stop me from partaking in my 420 every single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to get on and let everybody know that, like,
Thank
anybody
you
can say
so
whatever they
much.
want. Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't mind, I'm gonna. That's my channel. My channel name is Get to Know. Go check it out. Like, subscribe if you want.
And
It has to do with letting people get to know about sexual abuse and the effects it has on
wow.
children.
Yeah, let me see. Go back in my chat and comment. I'll give you a wrench. And can you drop your
All right.
link? All
All
right,
right.
cool.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you so much
Great.
for coming up. I
Yep. Thank
appreciate
you.
it. All right,
I
you're
appreciate you
welcome.
letting me up to it. Bye.
Thanks. Okay. Wow, he sounds like he's got a good channel. Oh, that's good to know. You know, I'm just so used to my state, you know, decriminalizing possession. But again, you have to, if you don't go to rehab, they will charge you. How do I, oh my God, how do I, oh, I'm on the StreamYard side. Hold on, let me get onto YouTube to my channel. Pink Lady Love. Pink Lady Love. Here we go. Let me, don't echo, let me pause it. Okay, here we go. There he is, okay. Add moderator. Okay, get to know. You got a wrench, honey. If you can drop your link, that would be awesome. Oh, Chubster found it? Okay, you can drop it too. Okay, well, he can keep the wrench. He's cool. You're welcome, get to know. I'm looking forward to your channel. Definitely. And everyone, you know, if his topics interest you, please subscribe and hit his like button. I think these are great conversations to have. And I'm glad we have them, right? And what did I say yesterday? It starts with the discussion. That's where, but make sure that, you know, I'm not like MRB, you know, spreading false information. And I'm so grateful that I get to know, like, you know, explain, just because, you know, again, I'm just so accustomed to being in Boston and Massachusetts that I tend to forget that, wait a minute, you know, and I always assumed that when you call 911, and I've been a nurse forever, and it's like, I didn't know that the cops don't have to show up. So I'm grateful for that. That's cool. And that's definitely information that I will certainly pass on to my friends, you know, and even at meetings, like if I go to Al-Anon meetings, or, you know, if I'm teaching Arcan training classes or whatever, definitely I'm going to bring that up and talk to other people about it. So thank you. You don't need to know who MRB is. Mummy Ramblings blog. No, don't go there. Don't go there. Stay well, stay happy. You know, do not go there. Yeah. All right, everyone. I've got to call it a night. Thank you, everyone, for my guests who came up. Zelda, Jenny, get to know. Who did we have up earlier? I'm getting tired. Buddy Cat, hi. Yeah, thanks for coming. Thank you. Yes, I did. Love info shared tomorrow, national. Yes, tomorrow, August 31st, International Overdose Awareness Day. And again, look it up on Google. You know, it's a day of remembrance for all the lives lost everywhere of those who lost their battle with substance abuse. September is, I don't know if it's International or National Recovery Month. But if you see in your town or state, you know, if you're passing by town hall or any areas of grass and you see small purple flags and tall gray flags, those represent, each flag represents a life lost to an overdose. And a lot of towns and cities they have speakers. I know in Boston last year, James Wahlberg, Mark Wahlberg's brother, who I know very well, he's in recovery, and so is his son, and he speaks openly about that. He's often a guest speaker, so keep your eyes out. If you see those purple flags, please say a prayer and remember those lives lost. All right, I'll see you soon. All right, and tomorrow, I hope to go live. I do want to find and show you the purple flags. I can't promise you there will be an event. I want to see if there's one close to me, but I'll certainly do my best and share that with you. Okay? All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for coming. Bye.